Good morning, student. Welcome here in your social science class. As all of you know that we are discussing chapter number 5 from Civics, Judiciary. So student, this is your part 2 of the chapter. In part 1, I have already explained about what is the role of the judiciary. So as all of you know about the work that the judiciary does can be divided into the 3 things. The first one is dispute resolution, then judicial review, and the third one is upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. We have already read about the Supreme Court also. So the Supreme Court was established on 26 January 1950. So the day India became a republic. So like its predecessor, the Federal Court of India in 1937 and 1949, and it was earlier located in the where? Yes, the Chamber of Peers and the Parliament House. So now after this it moved it moved to student to its present building on where? Yes, on Mathura Road, and when in New Delhi 1959. If you talk about although so many times we hear of rich and powerful people, if you talk about the rich and powerful people in India, what we hear, हमने सुना है ये चीज़ बेटा कि वो try करते हैं which people, rich and powerful people in India, trying to influence the judicial process. Yes, so that's why our Indian Constitution protects against this kind of situation by providing for the independence of the judiciary. It means no one can influence the judicial process. So that's why independence of the judiciary, is it? So here the question, you can say that what is an independent judiciary? So just student imagine a situation. Okay, एक situation imagine कीजिए बेटा, just like where the powerful politician. Okay, so which a powerful politician has encroached a land belonging to your family. Then within this judicial system, the politician has the power to appoint and dismiss a judge from his office, as you can say. So when you take this case to court, the judge is clearly partial to the politician. मतलब in Hindi you can say that कि किसी का favor नहीं लेगा. Okay, जो truth है, it goes to the truth. So it is through this independence the court plays a central role. Which role? Yes, so the court plays a central role in ensuring that there is no misuse of power also. Misuse of power of which thing? Yes, legislature and executive. So one aspect of this independence is that's why separation of power. So separation of power, as all of you know that we have already read this thing, we have already read this thing in chapter 1 about the separation of power. Yes, the legislature and the executive also, and the third one is judiciary. So where the separation of power, so students just take a quick recap. So where we already know about this. So the legislature refers to our elected representative. And what about the executive? So the executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and ruling the government. So that's why we can say that it is must for judiciary system that कि वो उनका बिल्कुल भी इंटरफेयर ना हो किस चीज़ का, separation of power where it included in legislature and executive. In short, you can say that it means that the court are not under. Okay, so the court are not under the government and do not act on their behalf. Is it clear, student? Now after this, if you talk about the appointment and removal. So for the above separation of work where the legislature and executive and independent judiciary, so it is also crucial that all judges in the High Court, where yes, the High Court judges as well as the Supreme Court also are appointed with very little interference from other branches of government. So that's why Indian Constitution must show actually वो क्या श्योर करते हैं और क्या प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं कि जो branches of government हैं उनका बहुत ही कम interference हो for the judges to appoint where in High Court and Supreme Court. So once they appointed this office, it is also very difficult to remove a judge also. After this, student, now our next topic, we will talk about the structure. Okay, what is the structure of code in India? Just look at here, there are 3 different levels. How many different levels? There are 3 different levels of code in our country. Is it clear for everyone, student? How many different levels? There are 3 different levels. Okay, so let's talk about the first one, subordinate or district courts. Okay, so there are several courts at lower level, while there is only one at the apex level, as well, if you know. So the court that most people interact with are what are called subordinate or district court. Okay, so these are usually at the district or tehsil level. Which level? Yes, these are usually at district or tehsil level, or in towns, you can say that. They hear many kinds of cases and pass even judgments also, which, yes, subordinate or district courts also. One important thing, student, also I want to to tell you about the subordinate court. So don't get confused. Listen very carefully, student. The subordinate court is more commonly known by many different names. Okay, so what are the different names? These include the trial court. Which court? Yeah, now, yes, trial court or the court of the district judge, the additional session judge, chief judicial magistrate, metropolitan magistrate, civil judge. Okay, is it clear for everyone? Now student, just look at here. The second one is high court. Which is the second one? Yes, so the second one is high court. So if you talk about the high court, each state, as you all of you know about India has now 28 states. How many states? 28 states. So each state has a high court, which is the highest court of the state. So here the question comes, which is the highest court of the state? Yes, high court. Here, as you can see, lower court, okay, subordinate or at district court, then high court, then supreme court. So if we talk about at present student, you must know about there are 25 high court. Now you will say, मैम अभी तो आपने बताया कि हर स्टेट का जो है अपना कोर्ट है, तो then high court है, तो how you can say that about the 25 high court now, because we have 28 states in our country India, student, because some of states have common high court also. Okay, they share a high court. So now let's talk about here some important things also. So high court were first established in 3 presidencies. This one is very important, student. So where the established? Yes, so the first high courts, you can say that, established in the 3 presidencies cities. The first one is Calcutta, the second is Bombay, and the third one is Madras. Which the 3 presidency cities? Yes, Calcutta, then Bombay, then Madras, and where? In 1862. Okay, so the High Court of Delhi. Okay, fine. Which one? Yes, so the High Court of Delhi came up in 1966. Now currently we have 25 high courts. How many high courts currently we have? Currently we have 25 high courts. So now let's talk about the Punjab and Haryana. So as you can see here, if we talk about the Punjab and Haryana, so student, Punjab and Haryana share a common high court. Okay, which 2 states also share? I will tell you other states also. Now let's come and first talk about the Punjab and Haryana. So Punjab and Haryana share a common high court, and where? At Chandigarh. Is it clear for everyone? Yes. Now other state also, 4 northeastern states. Yes, which are the 4 northeastern states who have a common high court. The first one is Assam. Yes, the first one is Assam. Then Nagaland. Which is the second one? Nagaland. Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh. So these are the 4 states also. As you clear it about the Punjab and Haryana, yes, and so here the other thing also, just like Assam, Nagaland, Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh, they also have a common high court, and where it is Guwahati. Fine. So now if you talk about the Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, later they have a common high court. पहले उनका क्या था? पहले उनका एक common high court था, but now after 1st January 2019, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana both have separate high court. पहले इनका एक high court था बेटा, they had one common high court, but now पहले उनका जो कॉमन हाई कोर्ट था बेटा हैदराबाद में था, बट नाउ इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द डेट 1st January 2019, सो आंध्र प्रदेश हैव हाई कोर्ट इन अमरावती. Where? Yes. So Andhra Pradesh have high court in Amravati, and Telangana also. Telangana have high court of Hyderabad. Is it clear? Now, so student, appellate power. Okay, so it means that a person can appeal, as you all of you know that about the levels of the judiciary system of the court. The first one is district, then the second one is high court, and the third one is Supreme Court. So this means that a person can appeal to a higher court if they believe that the judgment passed by the lower court is not just. Actually, just example also given here. So there was an incident of about Lakshman Kumar, who married a girl, 20-year-old girl, Sudha Goyal, and they lived in a flat in Delhi with Lakshman's brother and their families. So Sudha died in hospital due to the burn on 2nd of December 1980. So Sudha's family, her family filed a case in court. Okay, so as you all of you know the process, so when the case was heard in the trial court, okay, district, so 4 of her neighbor also were called as witness. So there that time now what the district court took decision. Okay, so during the trial court they said कि member of Sudha family and a neighbor stated that Sudha had been subjected to torture by her in-laws and that they were demanding more cash, dowry system, you can say that. So after this the trial court उन्होंने मान लिया लक्ष्मण को and about the family also. So mother Shankuntala, Lakshman mother Shankuntala and brother also, they sentenced all 3 of them to death. Now Lakshman family, as they were not satisfied with the decision of district court, then they appealed where? In the high court. Then still then again Sudha Goyal family, they were not satisfied with the decision of the high court, then they appealed Supreme Court. So first district, then high, then at last Supreme. So Supreme Court, if you talk about the Supreme Court in 1985, the Supreme Court heard this appeal. Okay, so at last जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला होगा वो ही आपके हाई कोर्ट को मानना होगा बेटा, और वही आपके डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट को मानना होगा. सो दैट्स व्हाई दिस इज एग्जांपल ऑफ स्टेट दिल्ली एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन वर्सेस लक्ष्मण कुमार एंड अदर 1985. नाउ स्टूडेंट, द नेक्स्ट थिंग कम हियर, जस्ट लुक एट हियर. ओके, सो हियर द व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट ब्रांचेस ऑफ द लीगल सिस्टम. Okay, now we will talk about the different branches of the which thing legal system. So above the case of the dowry, death fall within what is considered a crime against society and is a violation of criminal law. Where the example. So now look at the here. What is the difference? Okay, so here you can say that there are 2 branches of legal system. How many branches? 2 branches of legal system. The first one is criminal law and the second one is civil law. Okay, now student, first let's understand about the criminal law. So it deals with conduct or act that the law defines as offenses. Okay, just these laws are very harsh. Okay, so for example you can say that theft, fine, harassing a woman also, and then to bring more, dowry, even murder also. Is it? Now what about the civil law? So civil law, it deals with any harm or injury to right of individual. जो कोई भी इंजुरी और हार्म करे किसके राइट को? एक इंडिविजुअल को. Here the crime. Okay, it deals with the crime and defined as offenses just like theft, harassing of a woman, or to bring more, even dowry, and even murder also. And what about the civil? Yes, right of individual. Example, you can hear dispute relating to sale of land. Okay, sometimes some disputes also occurred about the property also, sale of land, you can say that. Rent matter also. Rent matter also, you can say that. Some other matter also, just like purchase of goods also, you can say that. Okay, here example of civil law, purchase of goods also, and then even divorce cases also. So after this, if we talk about the criminal law, okay, one important thing, it usually begins with the logging of an first information report, that is FIR. Okay, as you all, if you know about the FIR, and what is the full form of FIR? First information report. So it usually begins this one. Okay, criminal law, it usually begins which thing? Yes, it usually begins the first information report with the police who investigate the crime, after which a case is filed in the court. So what about the civil law? A petition has to be filed before the relevant court by the affected party only. By the whom? By the affected party only. So in a rent matter, you can say that either the landlord or tenant can file a case also. Now what about the punishment and all, you can say that. So if we talk about the criminal law, student, so if found guilty, the accused can be sent even to the jail and also fined also. Okay, so what about the civil law? The court gives the specific relief asked for. For instance, you can say that in a case between a landlord and a tenant. Okay, case between whom? Case between the landlord and tenant. So the court can order the flat to be vacated and pending rent to be paid. Which year? Yes, pending rent to be paid. Now the identify the branch. This one is very easy and simple. Just look at here, student. So identify the first one. A group of girls are you can say that persistently harassed by a group of boys while walking to school. Yes, it comes under criminal. Okay, and what about the tenant? Okay, who is being forced to move out, files a case in against the landlord. It comes under the civil law. So student, this is for you today. In next video I will explain the third part of the chapter, and that is does everyone have access to the court, and then I will provide you some question answer also, extra question answer also related to this chapter. So student, for today that's it. Thank you all of you. Student, have a nice day ahead.